Man, it was not pretty. It was not pretty whatsoever. But I would take all 3 points. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. We're not going to go back and remember this performance. We're just going to remember the fact that while the players looked a bit off of it, while the players were tired, a bit sluggish, the fact that they were able to galvanize themselves just enough to get them over the line to get all 3 points, and wearing these kits as well. I call these our bad luck kits. But with all that, and we still managed to get out of there with 3 points, I think that is what a champion looks like. Because it's not always going to be pretty. You're not always going to have a week off and look super fresh going into your game. You're going to have performances like this, and it's going to pop up like that on the road. So what are you going to do about it? In the first half, I thought we were super poor. A lot of sideways passing. Nobody was willing to take a risk to try to create something. We had 0 shots on target. I think expected goals was 0.05. It was nothing in that first half, but they found themselves in the second half, obviously with some substitutions, and it was just enough to get them over the line. And at the end of the day, as a Barcelona fan, that's all we can ask for. Can we just do enough to get the 3 points? Because we are the better team between the two. We showed that clearly in the first leg, first time around playing them, beating them 4-0. And so the second time around was always going to be tougher because of the context of us having that game midweek, and we're having to go to athletic clubs home after them understandingly took an ass whooping against us. So it was never going to be easy understanding all the context around it. But if you want to be a champion, you got to find a way to get all 3 points. And that's what we did. It wasn't the best performance. It wasn't the most convincing. But at the end of the day, job done from the boys. And that's all we can ask for as Barcelona fans. So, but looking at the starting 11, that Hansi Flick decided to go with, it was John Garcia in goal, Eric Garcia, Pau Gabarsi, Gerard Martin, João Cancelo, Marc Casado, Marc Bernal, Dani Olmo, and then Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, and Rashford. Now, honestly speaking, I understand why Hansi had to make a lot of substitutions, like a lot of rotations when looking at the starting 11, because of the fact, again, as I just mentioned, we played against Atletico Madrid in that second leg of the Copa del Rey, and a lot of the players put a lot of energy and effort in trying to come back. And though we fell up short, it was a lot of energy still put into that game. So that's why you didn't see Rafinha, a Lewandowski, a Pedri, a Fermin. You could argue you probably shouldn't have seen Lamine Yamal starting, but in this case, Lamine Yamal is, in my opinion, the best player in the world. He don't have that luxury of sitting out. If we're going to sit out Pedri, you're definitely going to have to play Lamine Yamal. Only way I would have seen Lamine Yamal not start is if he would have decided to go with Pedri. But because Pedri is still relatively just now coming back from his injury, we're not in that place yet to have him play as long as he did. And it wasn't even meant to have him play that many minutes. But because the comeback looked like it was on, he ended up playing the entirety of the match, which always meant the next game he wasn't going to start. So Lamine Yamal had to start this game. We couldn't afford to sit both Lamine Yamal and Pedri. But like I said, looking at this starting 11, I understand why Hansi made all the rotations that he had to, but I honestly looked at that midfield of Marc Casado and Marc Bernal and Dani Olmo, and I just thought, I don't think the trio of these midfielders is going to be good enough to create a goal. And if you look at the stats in the first half, he had an XG of 0.05, one shot, none was on target. The one shot came from Cancelo off a corner where he skied it over the bar. Other than that, there was really no chances created. And these guys look better when you have a Frankie de Jong or Pedri behind them. But when you ask them to go out there as a collective group without those two, and you don't even have a Fermin to be the wild card, just being honest, looking at it, I really didn't expect much from that first half, and that's exactly what we got in that first half, was a little bit of nothing. Ferran Torres, bro, I really wanted it to work out. I did. I made a video in the beginning of the year when he started off scoring damn near in every match. I'm like, I don't know if we really need to find a new number 9. We should prioritize that money trying to find our next center back. But as of late, he's been awful, bro. I'm just gonna call it for how I see it. He's been awful. Bro hasn't scored a goal since January, and that was against Elche when we was at home, when we won 3-1. Since then, he has played in every single match. No goals against Albacete, no goals against Mallorca, no goals when we got smashed 4-0 against Atletico Madrid. When we lost 2-1 at Girona, he didn't give us anything. When we won 3-0 against Levante, nothing. Villarreal, nothing. Atletico Madrid, when we won 3-0, when we were on the front foot, nothing. Athletic Club today, nothing. I mean, it's just, and then if you look at his match ratings in all of these games, you take away the game that he had a goal in, and just look at the match ratings following the game he had against Elche when he scored a goal. Albacete 6-0, Mallorca 6.5, Atletico Madrid 6.1, Girona 6.4, Levante 6.0, Villarreal 6.3, Atletico Madrid when we won 3-0 6.3, Athletic Club 6.0. I just I don't, and I get it. I don't completely just rate strikers based on do you score goals or not. Can you be involved in the link-up play? Can you create something for somebody else? Can you just be a nuisance to the defense? Can you do something? Ferdan is the clear example. If he's not getting a goal, you're not getting shit from him. And it's very, very unfortunate because I really wanted it to work out for him. I really did. But after seeing this, and Lewandowski is just a shell of himself, and it's understandably so. I believe he's 38 years old. So, Father Time is undefeated for a reason. So we have to play Ferdan more up front. And he has shown that this season, with him being our number 1-9, because let's be real, he's unless Lewandowski got all the rest in the world and he's filling up for it, Ferdan Torres is going to be our starting striker. And he showed me, now that we have basically the majority of the season to sit back and look at his performances week in, week out, he just don't have it. He just don't have it. I will accept him still as a backup number 9. I would. But him as our main starter, I'm bored with it. Honestly, I think it's time for something different. So it's pivotal that we either try something different to try to salvage this season at that position, but maybe putting Rashford up there, or saying fuck it, just go with Lewandowski no matter what. But either of those two, in my opinion, has to be better than what we've been getting from Ferran Torres, because I don't think his confidence is there. His link-up play is not really there, and obviously his goal scoring is not there. So if he doesn't really have all of that, then why is he even playing? I'm gonna just be real. I thought he was really, really poor today, and he's been poor now, going back over a month. Marcus Rashford, I thought this was him and Mark Casado. This was an opportunity for both of you guys. Starting with Mark Casado. This was an opportunity for Mark Casado to kind of show that, hey, you can rest Pedri. Or, hey, you can call on me when needed, and I can give you a performance. I don't really think he did anything to kind of justify him playing him by Hansi playing him more in the future. To me, he's too safe. He's too conservative. He doesn't really want to break the lines. He doesn't really want to look forward with his passing. He's going to make the safe sideways pass or go backwards, which is fine for a rotational player who's okay with being a rotational player. But we need something more if you're trying to break into the starting 11. And reality is, he's just not good enough to break into the starting 11 when everybody's healthy. He had an opportunity to show something today, but I just thought he didn't. He really didn't. I'm just be real. And the other player who I thought could have stepped up and shown something, but I thought he was really, really poor today. Outside of Ferran Torres, he was probably the next worst player out there on the pitch, and that was Marcus Rashford, who later got subbed off in the 62nd minute for Rafinha, and honestly, he shouldn't have lasted an hour. At times with Marcus Rashford, and it's like Dani Olmo as well in this and critique and watching him, he is so inconsistent, it's scary. When he's in form, he's feeling confident, he's feeling up to it. Marcus Rashford is one of the more lethal forwards in all of Europe, bro. Now, I don't think that's an exaggeration by admitting that. But when he's not that, and he's this version of Rashford, it's like, oh, get him off the pitch, please. I don't want to see him anymore. And I just thought, when he gets into the edge of the box, sometimes he just blindly crosses the ball into the box. There's no real target in there. It kills me that this club wants to continually cross the ball into the box when we have Ferran as some target options. It's just not going to happen. And then with him, especially on these corners or crosses coming out from the left-hand side, he barely beats the first man. So I'm just like, the passing from Rashford has been poor. And he can't even really get his shot off on the left-hand side. I really do think we need to try something. Ferran has shown us that it's not really working at the striker position. I would like to see if Rashford can play at the 9, because let's say if he shows us something at the end of this season, we already look like we're going to be signing him permanently. I would see if we can make him work at the striker position. That's just my opinion. The one game he played at the striker position, I can't remember who it was against, and I do believe it was a preseason game. I do believe it was a preseason game. But I thought he looked really sharp. He looked lively. His build-up play, he was willing to drop to be involved in the link-up. And he has the capability to be a threat running in behind the line. I don't know why we don't see more of him at the striker position. Obviously, that's what Hansi Flick's answer. But lately, him at the left wing just hasn't really been it. I don't really know what the reason it is. He's healthy. It's not like he's tired. He hasn't played a shit ton of minutes. So I thought he was really poor as well. Him and Ferran Torres up front. Disappointed with Marc Caicedo and not taking advantage of his opportunity. You could say the same for Dani Olmo. Wildly inconsistent. Would have loved to have him take the game by the neck. And look, at least with Dani Olmo, especially in that first half, he was willing to look up and try to play the through balls to the players that was making a run. His issue was he just wasn't connecting with them. Poor execution, but the right idea was basically the way I would describe Dani Olmo's performance. And when you're paired with Martin Bernal and Marc Caicedo behind you, you have to play a lot better than what we saw. Now, when he put in Pedri in that second half for the first 15 or so minutes, he did look better, but that's due to Pedri being behind him. And I think when you pay $60 million for a player to be a game changer, and he can only play well if he's surrounded by better players, then it's like, did we need to spend $60 million on that kind of player? Like, I wanted more from Dani Olmo. He wasn't the worst midfielder out there, in my opinion. I thought Marc Caicedo was the worst one, if you ask me. And I wanted to see more from Dani Olmo. I really did, but he's one of those players where we just got to accept that he's just wildly inconsistent. And he's only going to play better if he got the likes of Pedri and Frankie de Jong behind him. If he is the best midfielder on paper out there, then that's going to tell me that we're going to be in for a long game, because he don't step up when we need him to. So I don't think he had a really good game. But it is what it is, man, with the performances. I thought Lamine Yamal, for Lamine Yamal standards, he didn't have his best game, but he has that killer instinct that he's developing, and I'm happy to see it as early as him being 18. There was nothing in this game really from both sides. And the fact that the goal came from Lamine Yamal having a bit of space given to him by Adama, and then he was able to open his hips to finesse that back post, and it rattles off the post in the end. The fact that he's able to take the moment, understand that I'm not playing well, the team's not playing well, but we need a moment of brilliance. And the fact that he was able to deliver and give us just that one goal, and that was all we needed. But the fact that he was able to deliver and give us that goal was pivotal. He was the difference maker today. Him and Pedri. Pedri came on, and I understand Hansi. He was like, look, I'm going to give y'all 45 minutes to try to do something. But if y'all don't, I'm not going to be wasting time. I'm putting on Pedri to start the second half. And if I still don't like what I'm seeing, then here comes Fermin, Lewandowski, and Rafinha all coming on in the 60th minute. But we expected that. Like I said, at least for me, I'm going to speak for myself. When I saw that starting 11, I knew the subs were going to be the difference today. And they ended up being the difference. Because Pedri, to me, they gave him a 7.1. Honestly, I thought it was better than that. He was the difference maker in that second half. He was the reason why we got our goal, as he found Lamine Yamal on that right-hand side. But it was a lot of times he dribbled out of danger. He was able to link up and find Fermin in the middle. He just does the things that other midfielders don't. And I guess we call him the best midfielder in the world, and I believe he is. So I can't expect everybody to play like the best midfielder in the world, because that's for one player, and to me, that's Pedri. Everybody else, they can't play like him because they just not as good as him, and that's okay. But I thought, when Rafinha came on, he really didn't do much. Lewandowski, same as him, and they really didn't get service. Rafinha was making the runs, but the balls to try to find them just weren't there. Ronald Araujo, he came on for about 10 or so minutes. I thought he was solid. Fermin, same as well. He was lively, taking players on, trying to find Lamine Yamal and trying to find others. So the subs, to me, were needed in order for us to get all 3 points. And Hansi Flick, I believe he always knew that. That's why he was pretty quick to make his changes. But like I said, man, it really wasn't much into this game, man. The expected goals, all in all, like in the match, really warrants 0.86 and 0.45. We had one big chance, they had two. It was really 90 minutes of just nothingness. The game was really boring, but sometimes, like I said, you're not going to have your best performances. You're not going to always put on a show. But in those games, can you get all 3 points? Barcelona answered the question and said, yes, we can. So that's all I got to say on this game in regards to the performance and the fact that we got all 3 points. I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this match. So comment down below, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for watching if you made it this far. And I'm going to go ahead and get up with y'all on the next one, man. So until then, Two Tone is out. Peace.